good fortune to be able to spend some hours this summer to do some research, and I decided to look at the history of churches through the ages, starting with the church that is represented by the Adam and Eve stories, the history of that, and then by the Noah's Ark stories and things that followed, to the Israelitish church and the Christian church and the new church. And the reason I wanted to do that is because really all literature started with religion. And I wanted to take a look at that, look at the progression, so I could give the children an idea of how we came up with metaphors and similes. They started with the Bible, and then they came down into literature, into other forms, and gradually we became more and more secular with our literature. But so this year we are going to be looking at mythology. And then we're going to go and read the Odyssey, and we're going to read some mystery plays. They started back in the Christian church as a way, because the priests were talking in Latin, the people couldn't understand what they were talking about, so they really didn't know anything from the word. Somebody had the great idea, well, let's act it out for them. So they started acting it out in church, and then they gradually brought that into the streets, and then we developed the system of plays that we now have. So we'll be looking at mystery plays and morality plays, and then we get to read Romeo and Juliet, and we get to read The Taming of the Shrew. Then we get to write our own play, because I got the permission from an author, a local church author, who wrote a book called The Wanderers. And last year my high school lit class read it, and she has graciously, as well as the publisher, given us permission to write it into a play.
Oh,
so
great.
We're going to do that.
That's fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to end our year integrating a little bit with Mrs. Ball's French class and read Les Miserables. It's one of my favorite novels. It's wonderful. I also have the privilege of teaching the 5th and 6th grade lit class, and in keeping with our friendships theme for the month, and because it's just a good idea to start off with friendship at the beginning of the year, I'm doing a unit on friendship, and we're reading a lot of books together that will help them develop an idea of what it is to be a good friend.